Here at the right side of Kennebunk has had a great deal of fun. Yes, we have. We've made a sport out of making fun of Ron Paul. I will start out this morning doing the exact same thing that I do every time I get an opportunity to blog about Ron Paul. That would be make fun of him. But with that being said, afterwards, I've got to ask you, Ron Paul supporters, a serious question. I'm not saying I condone this question, but this question was asked, and after I read it, I'm starting to think that this guy who wrote this letter has an ulterior motive to his letter. But with that being said, it is a valid question to ask. I found out this morning, this is like breaking news, that Ron Paul has 47 delegates. Yes, 47 delegates. You need 1,044 delegates in order to win the Republican nomination. That means that Ron Paul needs 997 delegates in order to take the mantle of the Republican Party to run against one Barack Hussein Obama in November. Yes, you heard me right, Mr. O for 23. Yes, that's right, Mr. Ofer needs 997 delegates to go. Now, with that being said, I came across this letter that was posted on the Leaf Chronicles. Now, I'm going to state right off the bat, I believe this guy who wrote this letter has an ulterior motive. But like I said, he asked a question that needs to be asked. Letter. Will Ron Paul supporters get behind GOP nominee? Okay, Tuesday, Super Tuesday is over. Ron Paul is yet to win a single state. With only a couple of exceptions, he rarely cracks 15% of the vote. I understand Ron Paul supporters' avid support for the man. I, too, like Paul's stance on constitutional issues, economic issues, and issues of personal freedom. I won't go into why I'm not a Ron Paul supporter, because debating the pros and cons of Ron Paul as president isn't the purpose of my letter. The purpose of my letter is this. It's obvious that Ron Paul isn't going to win the GOP nomination. He has acknowledged as much himself. Excuse me. When he has said that When he has said that he is in the race to send a message, I'm pretty certain that Paul is not going to run as a third-party candidate. Therefore, my question for Ron Paul supporters is this. Once it's clear that Ron Paul isn't on the ballot for the general election in November, will they get behind a GOP candidate and make sure that we stop Obama from winning a second term? I know Paulinese would have to hold their nose as they vote, but can they do it to help us stop Obama from being reelected? Look, I understand that Ron Paul people believe that he is the only one who can save the country. I get it. But if they can't get Paul, do they want a president who will do at least some of what Ron Paul would do? Or do they want to stay with a radical leftist who continues to bankrupt the country and rule by executive order and completely throw the Constitution and personal liberties in the toilet? Now, I can't pronounce this gentleman's name. His first name is Joseph. His last name is lost to me. He's from Clarksville. Now, I will link up the letter for your reading pleasure, but he asked a valid question. Will Ron Paul supporters get behind a GOP nominee if it happens not to be Ron Paul? Now, here at the right side of Kennebunk, like I've said, I've had a great deal of fun making fun of Ron Paul. I've actually enjoyed it. It has been kind of a sport for me. But this morning, I'm asking a serious question. I believe that this guy behind this letter has ulterior motives. I think he should have come right out and stated who he supports before he even asked the question, as far as I'm concerned. But with that being said, it is a valid question. Because it's here at the right side, we have been fighting with ourselves. As everyone knows, if you're not familiar, I'll tell you, I got online for one purpose, and that was to get Sarah Palin elected as the next president of these United States. I lost my candidate. Since then, I have not made a choice of who I will vote for in the general election. Why? Because it's hard for me to compromise my principles. And I'm actually at the point of getting, if Mitt Romney, I'll be honest with you, gets the Republican nomination, I'm not compromising my principles and voting for Mitt Romney. It's just not happening. It's not. But I've stated my purpose when I do the things I do. My support is behind Sarah Palin. It has been 100%. You've always known that I have a motive. That motive was to get Sarah Palin elected. Now, when it came to trashing particular candidates, I would do it because it was fun. Now, I really never trashed. I've just pointed out various things, and I've tried to have a little fun doing it. But I've never, ever, ever been like this guy, because as far as I'm concerned, there's ulterior motives behind this letter, and he really should state who he supports. I'm Tim Donovan, and I'm on the right. You want to know where I am? Just look to the right. You're going to see me asking a question to Ron Paul supporters from a guy whose name is Joseph. Can't pronounce his last name. He's from Clarksville here on the right side of Kennebunk.